The Chromecast with Google TV and Apple TV 4K are two of the most popular, well-reviewed TV streaming devices out there, and I've used both devices for well over 6 months, having done an in-depth review of each one. But there's only one device I've come back to over the past year for TV streaming, and that's the Apple TV 4K. Now, neither of these devices is perfect, but the Apple TV 4K is the device I recommend to most people looking for a TV streaming device, and I'm going to walk you through why that is, and the first reason is performance. The Chromecast with Google TV can just lag at times and just feel completely underpowered compared to the A12 Bionic chip that Apple put into the Apple TV 4K. Apple's UI by comparison feels buttery smooth all of the time, and aside from its speed, the Apple TV 4K always gets you the best picture quality possible. Now, the Apple TV's one downside, aside from its price, has shown up for me in the performance category over the past several months, and that has been audio dropouts. What will happen is when playing content in certain apps like Netflix and Apple TV Plus, with Dolby Atmos content specifically, I'll experience intermittent sound cutouts, which happen every 20 to 40 minutes, and this has been extremely annoying and something other people seem to be running into as well. The next reason I'd recommend getting an Apple TV 4K is if you already have other Apple devices like an iPhone, iPad, Mac, or any other Apple device, because when you pair other Apple devices with an Apple TV 4K, you get a lot of extra features, the first one being AirPlay. Not only can you AirPlay photos, videos, anything you want to the TV from your Apple devices, but you can also use AirPlay to output the sound coming from your Apple TV to AirPlay-enabled speakers, which is perfect for when you have family and friends over and you're watching a game on the TV, but you want people in other rooms to still be able to hear what's going on with the game, like people in the kitchen, bathroom, any other room in your home. This is also useful for situations like when I was recently on vacation and we wanted to watch a movie as a family. I used my Sonos Move through AirPlay as the TV speaker, which greatly improved the sound compared to the built-in TV speakers, which typically suck. You can also use a stereo pair of HomePod minis for your TV sound as well through AirPlay. Another thing I love about the Apple TV is you can use the AirPods Pro or AirPods Max to listen to audio from the Apple TV with spatial audio enabled, which will use head tracking to make it sound like there are speakers that have been positioned all around you and you're listening to something on a 5.1 surround sound system. It works really well and has been one of my favorite features of the Apple TV. Now, Google recently announced they'll be bringing spatial audio to their new Pixel Buds Pro, which we have a review coming out on, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see that review. But it's unclear right now if the Chromecast will be able to work with the Pixel Buds Pro spatial audio feature and if that feature actually includes head tracking. And Google just has no competition in the space where the AirPods Max sit. We've done a review of these on the channel and it's a product I absolutely love. Another new feature for the Apple TV is called audio sharing, which allows you to stream audio from the Apple TV to up to 2 pairs of AirPods so you can stay up late watching TV while not disturbing others in your household with the TV speakers. Another cool Apple ecosystem feature you can use to watch TV with friends and family who aren't physically present with you is called SharePlay. SharePlay allows you to watch content on an Apple TV and another Apple device like another Apple TV, a Mac, iPad, iPhone, etc. Once you start a SharePlay session, Apple will sync the supported content so when you're watching it with friends and family, you're watching that content all at the exact same time. Now, if you need to pause for a second to go to the bathroom, you can have it set up so when one person pauses content, it'll pause that content for everybody else watching through SharePlay. And lastly, if you're into Apple's fitness ecosystem, you can use the Apple TV's fitness app to watch your favorite workouts and track your progress on the screen with data streaming from your Apple Watch. So those are the Apple ecosystem benefits you get by going with an Apple TV 4K. Now, the last reason I'd pick an Apple TV 4K over the Chromecast with Google TV is the Siri Remote. It allows you to both click and swipe for navigation, giving users a choice of how they want to navigate around the interface, and I find I much prefer being able to quickly swipe around to get to what I want. Plus, it's just a nicer remote in terms of build quality, and they made this version thicker than the older Apple TV remote, so it's less likely to slide down in between your couch cushions. So those are the main reasons I think you'd go with an Apple TV 4K over the Chromecast with Google TV, but On the flip side, why would you pick the Chromecast over an Apple TV? Couple of thoughts here. First, I think if you're just a Google fan or you're just not crazy about Apple, you're not going to go for an Apple TV. But if you don't care about the brands as much, the price difference between the two devices will likely steer you towards the Chromecast with Google TV, which retails for $49 versus $179 for the Apple TV 4K with 32 gigs of storage, which yes, I do think is plenty of storage. I don't think most people need to spend more to get the 64 gig version of the Apple TV 4K. Now, another reason you might like the Chromecast is because Google TV is basically the newer version of Android TV, so you can sideload apps onto it, making it quite easy to get streaming apps onto the device that might not be available in your region. And then the last reason I think you'd go for a Chromecast with Google TV is Google Cast support. Just like AirPlay, you can cast music and media through your Google Cast system to your Chromecast with Google TV, and it works with both Android and Apple devices, whereas AirPlaying content from a device to your TV only works with Apple devices. You can also group your Chromecast with Google TV with other Nest speakers in a Cast speaker group. However, at the time of recording, Google still has not launched a feature that allows you to output audio from a Chromecast with Google TV to a stereo pair of Nest audios or a group of Cast speakers. So those are the reasons why I think you might go with the Chromecast with Google TV. Now, you may be wondering at this point, wait a second, so there's no difference between these two devices in terms of content availability or discovery? And in my experience, no. Both Apple and Google have aggregated content views that allow you to discover and keep track of shows you're currently watching. However, Netflix declined to surface their original content in these views to try and force you to keep going into the Netflix app, which yes, does suck. But in general, here in the US at least, both the Chromecast and Apple TV 4K have the same mainstream apps, and yes, the Chromecast with Google TV does have the Apple TV Plus app, so you don't need to spend $179 in order to get your fix of Ted Lasso or Severance. Now let's talk recommendations. Even with the downsides with the Apple TV that I've encountered, like the audio cutouts, which wasn't something I encountered when I first got the Apple TV 4K, so I'm hopeful that's just a software bug that Apple is able to find and patch. Even with that, plus the higher cost of the Apple TV 4K, because of its performance and ability to just get you the best sound and picture quality possible, it's the device I primarily use to watch TV and movies at home and the one I recommend to others. The Chromecast with Google TV is just a bit too underpowered for me to recommend, though if you do like the Google TV experience and you're in the Google ecosystem, the Nvidia Shield may be another route for you to check out. If you're interested in purchasing either the Apple TV 4K or the Chromecast with Google TV, you can use the purchase links here in this video to learn more. If you have any remaining questions about either device, or you want to share your opinion on which you think is better, leave those in a comment below, and while you're down there, hit that thumbs up button if you liked this video and found it helpful, and subscribe to the channel for more tech comparison videos like this one. And if you're looking for what to watch next, check out our in-depth 6 months later reviews of both of these devices, which I've left in the description below. For 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks for watching.